Right, here's my battery switching setup. This is a continuation of the setup I had using what Friedrich presented as a battery switching method of retaining your charge, and basically it's free energy using a patent created by Carlos Benitez. So last time around I used this configuration. The principle is that you have two batteries that are in series and two batteries that are in parallel. The series batteries, the voltages stack up, so if you have 12 volts in one battery, then two batteries in series is 24 volts, whereas the other set of two batteries will remain at 12 volts. The difference between that voltage is what you can drive a load with. And when you switch back and forward, so you switch one from series state to parallel state, then you can charge one battery pack with the other battery pack, and in addition run a load in between, theoretically without losing too much energy. Of course, there's going to be losses in the batteries and their ability to recharge, as well as in their discharging. So this seemed kind of cumbersome because it requires 4 batteries, and I wanted to simplify it a little bit. So instead of using 4 batteries, I use 2 batteries now. So now, instead of switching 2 batteries from series and parallel and then back and forth, I switch the batteries, each 2 different batteries. One battery will go through a step-up boost converter, and then the other one will go through a step-up boost converter. So this is the circuit that defines that, and then each of these will go through a full bridge rectifier into load. So no matter which battery has the higher voltage, you're always coming out with the same positive and negatives in the circuit. That is this setup right here. So here you can see the battery 1 indicator light. So every time I press this button, then battery 1 moves from charging to discharging. Blue is discharging, red is charging. And what that means is that the discharging battery is now the higher voltage. And down, I don't know if you can see down inside of there, I got a boost converter that's set at 36 volts. So this battery is actually acting like a 36 volt battery, not a 12 volt battery, and it's feeding into here. And now I'll switch back. So now this one is acting, battery 1 is now charging from this battery. Now I'm going to run a load in between them. That's this little motor right here, and that's going through this device that will let me see the current and the wattage. So let's start that up. So there we go, we got it running kind of slow, and you can see the effective voltage right here. Now the thing is about these little voltmeters is that they actually take up a little bit of energy. So now here we have battery 1 and 2 from this diagram. It's battery 1, battery 2. We know that battery 1 is charging and battery 2 is discharging. So battery 1 should be a higher voltage. It's at 12.5 volts. And it's going up. So it's going from 12.5 to 12.51. And the discharging one will eventually drop down. So I can accentuate that, 12.27 down to 12.26. So I can accentuate that by turning up this motor. So So let me adjust this potentiometer. So you can see the effective voltage is going up. So now the charging battery is at 12.57. Discharging battery is at 12.15. You can also see it here. The blue discharging voltmeter isn't as accurate as all the other ones, so this one's it's reading a little low. So let's switch them. So now battery 1 is discharging. It's acting like a 36 volt battery and combining with the smaller one. Now let's look over here. You'll see battery 1 is now discharging 12.29, 12.28. We'll go to 12.27. While the charging battery is going up. 12.40, 12.41, and eventually 12.42 should show up. There we go. So battery 2 is going up and it's charging, while battery 1 is discharging, and the difference between the two is what's running this motor at an approximate 10 volt actual voltage. So I'm going to turn this off for a second, or let's turn it off right here. Now what this LED is it's using that Bedini back EMF voltage to light that LED. So this LED is actually getting energy not from either of these batteries, but from the back EMF, the collapsing magnetic field on this motor here. So now what I'm going to do is charge this third battery with that voltage. Alright, so let me hook up these connectors. I'm trying to do this with one hand without shocking myself. Alright, so these are now live. So I'm going to put the positive with the positive. I can get that on there. It's on the plastic. Let's try this negative side first. There we go. Negative was easy. Now let's add the positive. Alright, actually, you know what? Let me get rid of that LED because I don't want that to interfere with anything. So we're getting rid of the LED. Whoops, I just dropped. And we're going to put this battery in parallel with the back EMF and make sure we don't touch these leads together. So we should see this increasing, but it turns out it doesn't increase by that much. So let's get the motor started again. So we have battery 1 discharging right now when we turn it back on, and battery 2 will be charging, as well as this third battery. It'll be charging from the back EMF. So turn that on. Alright, and then we're going to turn this up. We can see who's charging and who's discharging. Alright, battery 1 is discharging, battery 2 is charging. This is at 12.5. So this should actually go up to at some point. It's 12.5. Remember that. It might take a second for that one to charge up. But what I've also found is that the back EMF isn't very strong when you're charging from battery to battery. My best record readings are like around, you know, maybe 30% of the energy from a battery goes to back EMF. Oh, that's right. I got something a little bit more sensitive. So this is on the third battery. So it's a 12.63. Well, remember that 12.63. If it changes, then we'll come back and look at it again. There we go, 12.64. So this one's going up pretty slow compared to the charging and discharging batteries that we have over here. So we got 12.13 for battery 1, which is discharging. Battery 2, 12.56. 12.57 just went up again. And the charging battery again on the back EMF is 12.64. So let's turn this up a little bit more. So this is approaching half an amp. And the difference between the the step-up boost converter and the secondary battery is 24 volts, which is why we see a 24 volt output right there. Again, half an amp. And this just went up to 12.65. So that's still charging up. This one, the discharging battery is dropped to 12.09, so I think it was at 12.12 a few moments ago. So that one's dropping down 3 times the amount as the charging battery. And here we got 12.65 on the battery switch charging battery. So let's switch again. These will start to reverse charge. But this battery will still keep going up. So let's reverse this so that the charging battery, or battery number 1, will be charging. So now battery 1 is charging, so that'll start going up, as you see. Battery 2 is discharging, that's going down. Motor is still running. And it's at about half an amp. So we're about 11 watts. And now the back EMF battery is at 12.66 volts. So that's consistently going up. Now, is this free energy? Not really. There's too many losses in the batteries, and sometimes if the charging battery does not accept the charge fast enough, then you'll get some losses. And I think realistically, it may just be putting a battery in series with a motor, which is why you see this here. One battery charging, one battery discharging. Back EMF is something a little bit different. So it actually helps out with the load. That's about to turn off. Yeah. Make sure we keep that on. So again, this is just a single pair battery switching. It's not the two going from parallel, two pairs of batteries going from parallel to series like I had before in the previous video.